Can I guess what you're about to say? Only morons and dweebs would like something like this. Anime is for the brittle spirit and the tiny brains. This is last page.
Jason, start us off on how much you like this.
Anime, a genre enjoyed by millions of people across the globe. When these people aren't watching their favorite furry-loving anime, they're probably whacking it to hentai tentacle porn. And all these people have come together to watch Netflix's live adaptation of a beloved creation called One Piece, an anime that is still running from 1999, and now the internet is abuzz with this adaptation. Can it do justice to what people love and can expect from anime, or is it nonsense for babies? This is Last Page. As we enter issue 23 of Last Page, I am your humble host, Maverick King, joined today by Rembo and Jason Cedars across the oceans of the internet. We have gathered once again to talk about One Piece. I could not care less about anime. Jason loves anime. He can't get enough of anime. I am wearing a Raiders tie because football is almost back. It is days away from coming back. We were going to talk about Remember the Titans. Instead, Jason caught me in a vulnerable moment and suggested we talk about something that's actually relevant, which is One Piece.
Why would anyone want to be a pirate? This is the best thing there is. Wind in your back. It's ready!
What is it?
We're Jolly Roger. We are the Straw Hat Crew.
Everyone seems to be talking about this show. I can't wait to talk about this because I hate anime. Jason loves anime. Remy is I don't know how to religiously categorize his anime affiliation. He likes some animes, but he's not head over heels into manga and all of that stuff. So this is going to be interesting to see. We all watched, Jason has watched 3 episodes?
Yep.
You have watched 3 episodes of the live action. You had not seen One Piece, which surprised me because you had not seen the anime. And then you told me prior to us recording why you didn't watch it. You love anime. You love the genres. You love all these new shows. Why didn't you like the anime from '99? What about it don't you like?
First off, I'd like to say I've never whacked off to hentai tentacle porn, and that is not something that you associate with other anime. That's a whole other
that makes fun
of weirdos. Yes, that's another subcategory. So don't loop us all into the same one. So, so the year is 1999, somewhere around there, and they dubbed it back then the Big Three. It was Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Bleach were the 3 big animes at that point. And they all ran into the multiple hundreds and thousands and whatnot. Bleach stopped for a while and now has actually come back on Hulu. But it was at a point where I'm just starting anime and it was kind of overwhelming, actually having to watch 3 different shows every week. So I thought One Piece was the one that I wasn't going to watch. And just purely based on animation style too. I thought it was one of the uglier of the animes and very typical main character of any of the animes, a positive, fun main character is very much what animes base themselves off, and Bleach and Naruto definitely had those already. So I'm like, all right, I'll skip this one. And regrettably, now that it is running for 20 years now, and I felt like I wasn't in the loop with the talk on it, so it's something that I might even go back and watch now. And that's what the funniest thing about this whole live action thing is I begrudgingly didn't want to watch this one as well, because if I wasn't interested in the anime, why would I, watch the live action? But because of a lot of people around me, the internet and trusted opinions in anime world told me that this is something worth watching. I jumped into it and I enjoyed it. And to the point of where I feel like I almost want to get back or jump on the anime and start watching that all the way through and just starting the long grind of doing it. But I went in pessimistic and not expecting to enjoy this, and I had a smile on my face for most of the 3 episodes. I had a good time. Now, it is not great. It is extremely cartoony. The tone is definitely something that of a show that I wouldn't gravitate towards, but it embodies what the original anime was. It was very much like this, and so it's doing a great job of that. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about this and see your opinions on it, but I was surprisingly entertained the entire time I watched it.
I'm very excited to start talking about this because this might just be 10 minutes of talking about One Piece, and it might devolve into just talking about why anime sucks or why anime is great. So this is going to be great. Remy is, I think, the true middle that is probably the most voice of reason on this topic, because I feel like I am so jaded against anime. Pokemon's my one anime that I watched as a kid, and I still like Pokemon. That's my only one, which I think anime people are like, that's not even anime. They're like, it's American. So I don't even think that counts. So yes, let's talk about this. Like and subscribe and like. Remington, you watched the cartoon, the first episode of the cartoon, you watched the first episode of the live action. Your thoughts on One Piece?
Don't let anybody tell you that Pokemon isn't a real anime. That was made and recorded for Japan and then afterwards dubbed into English back into the US. So there is nothing that separates it other than the fact that it's really good and it's very different than other animes. In that there are still the typical anime tropes of like giant big head, waterfall tears, like all these ridiculous things that happen, but the supernatural element but it's very just like, it's just kind of regular kids being kids, but then in the world of Pokemon. So that's why it just feels, whereas like almost all other anime shows are very deep into supernatural. Even like the humanoid characters are supernatural, and so that's why it's a little bit different. Anyway, I do not think I could take on the grind of having to watch that cartoon. I could get through this. I could get through this, the live action. The cartoon, I don't think I could do. And if Vic or Jima are listening to this, I'm sorry, guys, but I know they love it. My friends love it, but that animation style is really hard. Like it's so like Naruto is so much better. Just if nothing else, in the fighting. The fighting is much more dynamic, where you have really cool ninja like things going on and top of the powers that people have. Whereas this is, I don't know how to describe it without physically demonstrating it, but it's all like these big wind up, just and then it's just and it's every single, at least in the first episode, that's the whole, every fight is like that.
You gotta announce the move you're doing too.
Oh yes, Gam punch. And so watching I watched the first 2 episodes of the cartoon, and just is like, that would not be my type of anime. I watched Naruto. I really like Naruto. And I think that's a great anime and has great characters. I'm assuming that the character arcs in the cartoon develop and get better, because usually anime is good at least about that. With the live action, I appreciate what they're trying to do. They're like, we're going to take the source material and just exactly copy it, how it looks, how the characters look like they do. They're just like, that's what it looks like. We're going to try to be true to that. And I really appreciate that, because I think doing the opposite is not good, where you're like, nope, we're going to make it really dark and gritty and make it for, adult audiences or something that some studio execs would do. I don't think that's a good idea. So I appreciate what they're trying to do, but there's a reason that you don't have a bright green and bright pink Green Goblin swarming the streets of New York. It just doesn't look good. It just looks silly. That's basically what the show is, and I assume is that what they're going for, just to look as silly as possible? Because mission accomplished. It is very silly, and the characters that are supposed to be cool, like Zoro. His first name's hard. Zoro. Zoro obviously is supposed to be the super cool badass character, but it's just constantly surrounded by silliness. So there's nothing really. He doesn't feel badass. It just feels like I don't know how else to put it. It's just silly.
I should probably read the IMDb plot summary of this. In a seafaring world, a young pirate captain sets out with his crew to obtain the title of Pirate King and to discover the mythical treasure known as One Piece. So both the anime and the live action center around Monkey Luffy is the character's name. And he is this straw hat wearing skinny dude whom is trying to become the Pirate King. And he is floating in a barrel in the ocean and then is brought aboard this pirate ship where he springs out and starts causing chaos among this battle. The tone of the anime, and I should clarify when I'm talking about the anime versus the live action. So I watched the first episode of the anime first, and then I watched the live action. So I wanted to know tone-wise where it was going. The anime is silly. It's this, everything is so dramatic. Everything is ratcheted up. And this is kind of those things where when I watch it, I'm just like, this just feels like every anime where everything is yelling at the loudest levels. It's crying at the most dramatic levels. It's just everything is everything is that. And I'm just watching it like, I get it. For kids, I understand. But as an adult, it's just watching this insanity. It makes Bugs Bunny look like a C-SPAN episode of like Congress talking about some water bill. Like, it really is just over the top and everything. So it's not for me. If I was a 10-year-old, I'd probably love it. I think it's amazing. So the live action adaptation of it, the first episode of the anime, I'm pretty sure, just based on kind of how long the episode is, I'm pretty sure that the live action anime first episode is probably like 3 anime episodes.
Yeah.
And I was just, it was crazy. We pushed play. 3 hours went by. Couldn't believe it. 3 hours went by. And then I pushed pause. And I was only 30 minutes into the first episode. Can you believe that? Can you believe that really happened, Jason? 3 hours went by. And somehow I was only 30 minutes into the first episode. Can you believe that happened, Jason? Can you believe that's a true story?
I do not.
So I will say it was the live action was not as crazy. It did not try to go beat for beat with the chaotical. Is that a word? That's not a word. The craziness.
Chaotic. Just chaotic.
Chaotical is a cool word. I got to write that down.
Don't let words control you, man. Make them up.
I'm controlled, but by Webster. So yeah, it wasn't like the actors were not trying to act like the anime, which I did appreciate. They did try to reel it in a little where, yeah, they act cartoonish, but it wasn't too crazy. The guy that plays Luffy, it does look like a live action, like he acts like a live action version of that character. And I would imagine if you like the cartoon or the anime, that this live action is tailor-made for you. But Jason, you as an anime fan, and you watching the first 3 episodes of the live action, despite not caring for the anime source material, did you like the characters at least? Did you feel like these characters were good representations of the tone of anime?
It's funny. I did the opposite. I watched the live action first, and then I watched the anime. And because I thought I kind of knew about the anime enough to just jump into live action. But you're right. The cartoony tones were really, really dulled down in the live action, which was awesome. It was a great representation. And I did do some research on the directors of this. Mark Jobst. Did you guys come across this name? He directed, there looked like there was like 6 directors on this show, but Mark Jobst directed Daredevil. He directed Witcher. He directed The Punisher. Jupiter's Legacy. So it's like he did a lot of these cooler, and now only an episode of like the Daredevil one was the later when Punisher is introduced. He directed a lot of that stuff, and he directed some episodes in the Punisher show. So, and then some of the Witcher episodes. So he didn't direct the whole thing, but he's in there. It's like, now I can understand, why they brought him on. He is kind of doing one of these newer kind of bigger episodic things and did it so well, because yeah, you have watching the anime and then trying to be like, how am I going to do this, in the live action, which did you guys watch any Cowboy Bebop, Netflix's last attempt at this, or is the exact same thing? They did a episode for episode, pretty much the first season of Cowboy Bebop, and it ultimately failed so hardcore because they did not do a great representation of the main three characters, which in this one, that's what all the internet's talking about is the main three, the Zoro, Luffy, and what's the pink hair or the red hair girl's name? Something with an A.
Not Misty.
Nami, yes, Nami. And how well, like every character who's been every person who's been watching this for thousands of episodes is like, you did this justice, you did this right, and I think that was the boxes that they really had to check. But yeah, it feels like an anime. Yeah, it has the fast pacedness, it has the action scenes, which I am so surprised about the choreography on the action scenes in this, where they're fighting old metal jaw dude with the axe hand in the courtyard, Zorro, with all three of them. And it's fun. The camera angles spinning around them. It doesn't look like all these weird cuts and stuff, which there is some parts that has some like almost chaotic, I would say, anxiety inducing cuts. I can't remember which episode it was. I don't know if it's the first or second or third, but there's a lot of cutting in it to where it makes it try to feel like an anime by doing that. So there's some things they hit the notes really well on, some that kind of miss, but overall I can't believe how good this came out and how much I'm surprised talking good about this, because my buddy at work came up to me and said, I need to watch this. I'm like, I'm never watching that. I went up to him yesterday and I apologized to him. I'm like, I'm so sorry I doubted you. I should have listened to you and everyone else about this. But I mean, it's hard. I mean, it has a lot of, with this many episodes in 20 years, you had a lot of weight on your shoulders. And I think that they did a really, really good job of it.
Yeah, it's funny. Just Netflix productions, there's like such a ceiling that they can't do anything excellent. Like, I mean, what is the best product that Netflix has ever put out? Is it Narcos?
It's definitely The Irishman.
No, but like I said best.
King. I remember that.
The Irishman, you have Daredevil, you have House of Cards.
Narcos. Oh, House of Cards. Okay, yeah. I would probably say...
and Narcos at its peak.
Narcos, the first two seasons of Narcos. It's just Netflix just has their own level of like straight to TV standard, where it's like this. If you watch this in a movie theater, it'd be weird because it'd be like, this feels too cheap for a movie theater. But it's better than in NCIS or it's this weird middle ground.
Did you ever watch Speed Racer? Remember that movie back in the
Speed Racer?
Oh, with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, Speed Racer.
Oh, Speed Racer. It's funny you say that because I literally was like, this feels like it's directed by the Wachowskis.
Yeah, I mean, it had such a Speed Racer feel, where that was an old anime, they redid it, and they did very cartoony, very flashy, very thing. So it's like, yeah, you got to have that balance. And but Netflix definitely has a different way of doing it.
Yeah, it's just like, where you said like in that courtyard fight, I was like, it's fun. It is fun. It's a fun scene. The choreography isn't amazing, but it's not terrible. It's not bad, but it's not great. It's just like, it's okay. It's good. They do enough different things here and there. But it's it's really hard to buy how a dude with two swords is not decimating a guy who just, his only thing is just like, he has this metal arm. Like
3 swords.
3 swords, right? He puts the one in his mouth.
Naruto thing, buddy has 8 swords in Naruto. He's holding them between every little crevice of
his yeah. Except again, that's a cartoon, so you can get away with those things. And seeing it in the real thing, I'm like, how is he?
It would make sense if his teeth were like all like fucking just jagged and like he's been doing this trick with his mouth and his teeth were just fucked.
I mean, I'm assuming fans must be so excited that they nailed Kobe's character. I
Oh,
mean, how could you not love the big glasses, nerdy little twink? I mean,
androgynous as hell too. I could
he's
not
there. He is there for the gay thirst traps. 100%. 100%, dude. There is a very specific type of person that guy's there for.
That was the worst character, I feel like, in all this, and the hardest to probably translate into live action too. Yeah,
I mean, it seems like he was just as annoying in both.
that's.
I would say. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
Just the fact that Oda, he's the guy who's been drawing the manga for 20 something years. He was heavily input in the show, live action. So he was right there with everyone. So I mean, I think that's another reason why some of this transition is well, and the fans are very happy because the guy who created Luffy is sitting there like telling how Luffy should act, to the director and to the actor and stuff like that. It's huge.
Yeah, the Cody, is it Cody or Kobe?
Kobe, like Brian.
K-O-B-Y,
Definitely not the best Kobe. Yeah, the anime character is highly annoying, highly stylized, highly just everything is so over the top annoying. But this character would have been much more annoying had I not watched the anime, because the live action character felt much more restrained and just kind of not as dramatic. Like scared all the time, but not as dramatic. The first fight where Luffy's in the barrel, gets brought up, breaks out of the barrel, and breaks out of the barrel and then starts fighting all of these pirates because Luffy wants to be the greatest pirate and find the One Piece, which is this hidden treasure that a pirate that was executed 20 years ago
Gold D. Rogers.
Right.
Which I like the intro in the live action so much better than anime, because the anime they just showed a picture of him. He got to like announce his One Piece thing. I thought that was much better.
So this pirate's going to get executed, and he says, "I have a treasure out there. It's the One Piece or whatever," and everyone's going out to look for it. No one's found it in 20 years. So then 20 years later, Luffy is on the board of this ship, gets into this fight where he starts fighting all of these pirates. The lead pirate on this ship in the anime is this gigantic obese woman who has a Michael Jackson like 80s curly hair with a hat, and it's very comic book like MODOK looking. The way that like this character emotes, she's just this ginormous fat character. And the point of the part of all of this connecting that I just was like, of course they couldn't even do this, was in the anime. Luffy is standing up for Kobe to the big pirate lady who's just been bossing Kobe around as this little guy that's on the pirate ship just to serve everyone. And Luffy insults gigantic fat lady and says like all these things, and he's like, "And you're chunky." And then she goes, "Ah!" and then goes into this crazed attack and then bats him over the head, and he absorbs it because he's made of rubber. But because, of course, he's made of rubber. He made a deal with the devil, and now he's made of rubber. In the live action version, he says, "And you're really ugly." Like, this is where we are. This is the state of America. You can have a murderous, horrible pirate, this horrible lady who is ginormously obese, and you can't even point out the fact that she's fat.
Well, the girl that they use in the anime isn't that fat.
Yeah.
In the anime?
I mean, excuse me, in the live action.
No. Live action, she is obese, but she's not crazy. Like, obviously, the anime is much more stylized, but the one in the live action is obese to the point where you could be like, for example, and people are really like, "Oh, you're being fat phobic," but really, for example, if you have a 5'2" dude, and this dude's a nice guy, you're not going to be an asshole and be like, "Oh, you're 5'2", you little shorty." But if that guy's like yelling and being an asshole, or he's a murderous pirate, what you're going to do is like, "Hey, Napoleon Bonaparte over there." You're going to make fun of the fact that he's short. Just like there's nothing wrong with pointing out that this horrible, horrible human is chunky. And it's funny that that's what sets her off. Whereas you can't even have that in American entertainment. Like, don't mention the fact that she's fat.
That's what you were saying. But I don't feel like it would have struck as true on the live action because they did not over exaggerate her size in the live action.
Calling her chunky would have been funny. It's like you're not saying anything horrific. You're not saying like you're just saying you're chunky and that sets her off. That'd be funny. I watched Wanted recently, and like part of Wanted, the horrible boss is this obese lady who's like just like snaps a stapler in James McAvoy's ear, and that sets him off, and he like talks about her eating jelly donuts. It can work. Anyway, Jason, your thoughts on maybe that fight scene or just kind of the general? I don't know. I mean, there's only the first episode or whatnot to talk about. So your thoughts on kind of Luffy and his entertainment. I don't know. Not Misty. Is this a trope in anime where there's an orange-haired female protagonist lady that gets roped along to going on an adventure with the main guy? Is that a normal thing?
It's usually the three characters that hit some, character type of developments or different aspects of it. So yeah, it's like Brock and Misty and Ash,
I mean, Sakura has pink hair.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's right. Yeah. And then, Naruto, Sasuke.
Sakura has pink hair. Naruto has blonde hair. Sasuke has black.
And in Bleach too, Ichigo, Chad, and Orihime as the three. Yeah, there's three in that. So I think that's a very common, trope in animes is having those three because they think anyone sitting on that couch will adhere to one of those characters. It's like, oh, I like this guy because I betray that or whatnot. But the boat fight scene and everything like that, it was fun. I enjoyed so much more once they got to the courtyard and they're actually breaking into the Marine kind of base and everything like that. So I think that was kind of a fun introduction with the ships, which the CG on all the pirate ships and the water and things like that, where they keep showing these wide shots and stuff, I thought was amazingly done, and it's a really cool world that they already built. I felt like it was kind of dark in the beginnings. Everything's at night inside the boat. So when we get kind of halfway to the end of the episode, this world really opens up and keep forgetting where the first episode stops. I think it's right when they get the safe, right? And he throws it on his shoulder and they start walking out.
They plop it on the ship and then he's like, we're a crew. And they're like, we're not a crew. And then he tells Kobe Bryant that he's going to that he needs to go pursue his dreams as a Marine or whatever.
Yeah, because I really like in the next couple episodes where you do get a little bit more of Shanks and the back story of Luffy and him eating the devil fruit and all that sort of stuff. So it starts to like open up and get even more like beautiful as far as the colors and stuff. But yeah, it just has this like cartoony feel, which I can definitely see if people aren't embracing that. Everything is just kind of weird in anime, but the fight scenes, the punches, there's like rubbery body and all that sort of stuff. It's just fun, and the cartoony tone is exactly what I didn't like about the anime, but I'm really liking about the live action. So I had a really good time. Like I said, I was a smile on my face through most of it, and I like the main characters. I'm trying to think of something that was really a little bit off about it. I don't really remember the music playing that much of an aspect during it all. I imagine the intro song to One Piece played at points throughout it, but not knowing the intro song or how it goes, it was lost on me. But man, no, I had such a good time watching. I am going to come home and finish out the last couple episodes tonight to get my full impression of this show.
I didn't realize, I just was looking it up. Ian McShane is the narrator.
I was trying to figure that out. Yes, because the voice is so familiar in the very beginning. So what's Ian McShane from?
Oh, come on, bro. He's in everything. Well, he's in what's that show from the 80s that he was known for? Lovejoy? Is that it?
His voice is so familiar sounding.
Well, he's in Game of Thrones. He's in Deadwood.
John Wick.
Yeah. He's also in Pirates of the Caribbean. He plays.
Yeah, which is kind of ironic. But
another pirate. Yeah, that's probably why they casted him. But yeah, I was trying to figure that name out before we started. So good job.
Remy, we don't have a whole lot to go on, but generally speaking, we'll talk a little more anime after this. But recommendations. Who would you recommend this for, if anybody, or would you say skip both the anime and the live action, watch one of them? What would you say for this?
If you're a fan of the anime, I think and you don't have a problem with a purposefully ridiculous live action, like an exact translation live action, then yeah, I would recommend it. I mean, I feel like they're doing. It feels like they are really trying to do the greatest amount of justice to the original source material that they can, and I really appreciate that as somebody who wishes, like my fandoms, I wish they would do that more. So they would do that. So I really appreciate what they're trying to do, and I don't know how it goes. I don't know if by the end of the season that it veers off or something, or I don't even really believe in Netflix as a, like, I don't think this show's going to last more than 3 seasons, maybe 4, because nothing they do ever does. They don't have anything that ever lasts that long unless it's cream of the crop House of Cards. And even that was 5 seasons, 6?
4. Yeah, some
5 seasons.
5 seasons?
Even
So it's just like,
4.
for a show that has 1,000 episodes, this one is going to last, if you're lucky, 3 or 4 seasons. If you're lucky. I don't know what it is behind the scenes that Netflix just tanks. Like, they'll just tank their own stuff. So check it out while it's there. Enjoy it while it's there. Based off of 2 episodes of the cartoon, would I recommend the cartoon? Not really. I think there are better animes out there, I feel, at least from what I've seen, but that's still limited as is.
We'll talk about these ones you'd recommend in a moment. I would say if you're an anime fan, the live action, you definitely want to check it out because it is people trying to adapt that for a more serious audience, or at least a more serious adaptation that you can watch and not be ashamed of, the way that some remakes have been. But if you didn't know it was an anime, if someone just said watch One Piece and you just watched it, you would just be like, what the fuck? What is this? It's like, it's for kids. It felt like Nickelodeon at times. It felt like I guess you would just be like, maybe it's a cartoon adaptation or it's a comic book adaptation, because it's so, some of the characters play it straight, like Zoro, like he's very serious and not goofy. I was distracted when he was tied up in the courtyard, and he's tied up by Marines. And I'm no military expert, but don't Marines know how to tie knots?
Yeah,
because the knots that are holding him are like some just like shoelace tying together.
They're like loose in some parts and things like that. Yeah, I did remember that.
Yeah.
And how he's casually kind of laying on it with his feet up too. It's like,
it's just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a perfect adaptation of the anime, because I mean, he was tied up exactly the same in the anime. It's like little things like that, I really appreciate it. But that's so funny. Marines are known to tie knots.
But yeah, so I would say I'm not going to keep watching. I watched because Jason caught me while I was quitting on watching Silo on Apple Plus, because that show sucks. And looking for something, so literally scrolling, and Jason's like, "We should watch One Piece." And then Monica was, I mean, and then we were just like, "Fine, I'll do it for the content's sake." But Jason, you'd recommend this. You're going to keep watching. You're going to finish this. You're going to keep watching. You can't wait for season 2.
Yeah, no. I'm going to keep watching live action, and like I said, I might even start chipping away at the anime. Yeah, just to kind of see how it is, because it does get good. I mean, the anime does have they talk about One Piece having the best fight scenes, like better than Naruto and shit like that, which I will never agree with, but a lot of people say it's in the same category. So because of course they ramp up the powers. I think even like fucking he gets Dragon Ball Z style, where he like Super Saiyan, different color hair, and like rah, like wow, it gets that level in this show, and it is a lot of the characters. I mean, it can be being like 500 different characters that you all really adhere to and want to see their progression, their story arc and whatnot. So, I mean, I have a lot of stuff to watch. It won't be something that I really, really dedicate to, but that's the biggest thing I'm walking away from this is all right, the show made me want to try to tackle the anime, but Yeah, no, I'm glad you guys gave it a shot, because it's one of the better ones. Like I just said, Bebop was bad, and then Attack on Titan and Death Note and gosh, Dragon Ball. I mean, the list of live actions that they have absolutely failed at, and for this one to not hit all the marks but hit enough of them, I'm like, all right, good. Someone is heading this industry in the right direction, and we might get a lot more. I mean, because yeah, we would never have watched One Piece, and a lot of people wouldn't have. And now this is bringing us into the fold of the anime. So how many more shows can I get you guys to be brought into anime by these like live action versions, Because I can rattle off like 10 off the top of my head that are not fantastical, that not supernatural, that have nothing to do with that would also translate very well to, anime. So this is just the tip of the iceberg. And
Remy was trying to shoehorn watching an anime that's supposed to be good, which I felt like this was my pilgrimage. This was my giving up a good movie to watch, like Remember the Titans, for Lent, so that we could appease Jason wanting to watch an anime. And I thought, all right, we'll be done. We'll never have to bring this up ever again. But no, Remy's like, we should watch a new anime.
You're not getting away with that easily, bucko. You watch literally one. How many cartoon episodes did you watch?
It was 3 hours.
Did I watch one episode of a cartoon anime, and you're just like, wow, I did my time, guys. I really did.
Now, here's what I will say. I will say that I do appreciate that anime, unlike Western, the state of Western media right now, anime does push the envelope of violence, gore, sex, nudity, highly fanciful characters. You have chicks with giant tits. You have dudes with like 12 packs with their shirts off that are fucking hulking. I mean, these ridiculous fanciful characters that, like, yes, I like the ability to do that. And the fact that in the West, we don't fucking do that anymore. Everything is so censored and neutered and prudish. So I could be talked into, I did give Attack on Titan a chance like a year or so ago. Is there something, Remy and Jason, that you guys think would be the proper anime so that I can put away my hatership and enjoy one of these anime creations?
I mean, I like the idea of watching Attack on Titan. Is it Demon Hunter? Is the big one that a lot of people like? I watched one episode of that. It looked kind of interesting.
Demon Slayer.
No, go ahead.
No, Demon Slayer.
Oh, Demon Slayer. Sorry. Yeah. I knew I was messing up the name, but
I mean, the big question is if you want to do a big one or you want to do a small one where it is just 12 episodes. There's a lot of like these ones where you're like, okay, I got to watch 24 episodes or something like that, or these quick, easy ones. So it's how deep you want to go into it. But yeah, there's one like, it's like High School of the Elite. It's like a spy kind of thriller. There's no boobs, there's no gore, there's no nothing like that. So there's definitely animes that we can go towards that have none of that crazy.
Well, for Mav's sake, we should probably make sure at least some boobs are included, just to keep his interest.
Some gore, yeah. But no, Attack on Titan, because now we're into the final season. Yeah, is the final.
How many final seasons are there?
Yeah, this is the second final season, part 4 or something like that.
Wow, yeah. If I didn't know better, I'd say this is a Tom Cruise franchise.
Oh, come on! What did Tom ever do to catch a straight bullet in this one?
Oh no! If you bring up tentacle stuff, we're gonna bring up Tom.
Yeah,
because we did the furries, we did tentacles. Now Tom Cruise. We got to hit all of our tropes in our
I actually did just drive by the other day at Balboa Park. They were having a furry party. I was driving by and I was like, these folks look a little odd, and I was like, oh my god, they're furries! Just right there next to the playground with all the kids running around.
You're telling me. That furries were hanging out next to children. I mean,
no. And I looked over and I was like, "This is not good. This is not good."
I would be the first parent on that playground calling the police if I.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude. I mean, what do you say to your kids? What do you say? Your kids are like, "Why are they dressed up in wolf costumes, mommy?"
It's just like at Six Flags or at Disney World, right? I'm like, no, nothing like that. I go get my picture with them and dance.
Yeah.
So yeah, perhaps we shall watch a Attack on Titan or something. One of the things.
Hey, leave your suggestions in the comments.
Yes, leave your suggestions in the comment section. If you believe we should watch an anime and review it accordingly on Last Page, please, in the comment section, let us know. After you like and subscribe, I wanted to shoehorn the things that are in every anime that I just like, they drive me crazy because they're in every anime. Not just the facial expressions and everything, but the sounds. Like, why is that in every anime? Like they make that sound. That's not a real sound. It's like a sound of shock. And anytime it's like, why is that?
There's only like 50 voice actors in all of anime, so I think they use the same voice.
I would love to believe that you're going to say something that's just like an actual Japanese word, and you're just going to be like, "What is that?" And you're going to sound like a cultured.
Why do they keep saying konnichiwa? This is lame. I don't understand. No, because you watch a Japanese movie. Japanese people are not they're not making that sound. Right. That is an anime sound. And then the best part of anime, of course, is I think One Punch Man is the biggest offender of this, that it's just constant scream and scream and scream. So it's constantly just, that's Last Page!